Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and serene meadows, there lived a young man named Koji. Koji was known for his contemplative nature and a deep desire to understand the mysteries of the mind. He spent his days wandering through the lush countryside, seeking the wisdom of the elders and the tranquility of nature. One day, as Koji strolled along a winding path, he came across an old sage sitting under the shade of a gnarled cherry blossom tree. The sage, with a long white beard flowing like a waterfall, beckoned Koji to join him. Intrigued, Koji sat down and the sage began to speak. "Koji, my child, I sense a restlessness within you. Tell me, what troubles your mind?" the sage inquired, his eyes sparkling with ancient wisdom. Koji hesitated for a moment. Then, with a deep sigh, he confessed, "O wise one, I find myself entangled in alluring thoughts when I am alone. Images of desire and passion seem to dance before my eyes, distracting me from the path of inner peace. How can I overcome these tempting visualizations and attain true serenity?" The sage smiled knowingly and gestured for Koji to gaze into the distance. "Do you see the river flowing there?" he asked. Koji nodded, his eyes following the gentle stream. "Imagine your thoughts as leaves floating on the surface of that river," the sage continued. "They come and go, carried by the currents of your mind. Just as you cannot stop the flow of the river, you cannot prevent thoughts from arising. However, you have the power to observe them without attachment." Intrigued by the sage's words, Koji closed his eyes and envisioned the river in his mind. He saw leaves of desire and passion drifting by, and instead of resisting them, he allowed them to flow without judgment. "But, wise one," Koji questioned, "how can I maintain this detachment when the allure of sensual thoughts is so strong?" The sage chuckled softly and replied, "Like the river, the key is in the stillness at its core. Deep within you, there is a reservoir of calmness. In moments of temptation, return to this center. Breathe deeply and let the turbulent currents of desire settle. You are not the leaves on the surface. You are the unwavering depth beneath." Embracing the sage's teachings, Koji began to practice the art of stillness and detachment. When enticing visualizations arose in his solitude, he turned inward, focusing on his breath and the quiet space within. Over time, the river of his mind became more serene, and the seductive thoughts lost their power. One day, as Koji sat by the river, he realized that the leaves of desire had transformed into blossoms of understanding. The sage, appearing beside him, nodded approvingly. "Koji, you have learned to navigate the river of your mind. In embracing the ebb and flow of thoughts, you have discovered the blossoms of wisdom that lie beyond the surface allure. True serenity is found not in the absence of tempting thoughts, but in your ability to observe them without being swept away." With newfound clarity, Koji thanked the sage and continued his journey, carrying the timeless teachings of the river within him. And as he walked along the winding path, the cherry blossoms whispered the eternal truth of stillness and detachment to those who would listen. As Koji continued his journey, he encountered a fellow traveler named May, a spirited and curious young woman with a radiant smile. Intrigued by Koji's serene demeanor, May asked him about the secret to his inner peace. Koji, ever eager to share the wisdom he had gained from the sage, began to recount his experiences by the river. May listened intently, absorbing the tale of leaves turning into blossoms and the art of stillness amid the currents of desire. Inspired by Koji's story, May expressed her desire to learn the same lessons. Together, they decided to embark on a pilgrimage to seek the wisdom of the sage beneath the cherry blossom tree. As they journeyed, they faced various challenges that tested their newfound understanding. The path was not always smooth, and temptations continued to present themselves. May, in particular, found it challenging to quiet her mind and detach from the enticing thoughts that arose when she was alone. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, Koji and May arrived at the sage's dwelling. The old sage welcomed them warmly and sensed the questions lingering in May's eyes. "Ah, May, I see the ripples in your heart. The journey within is as vast as the external world. Embrace the challenges, for they are opportunities to deepen your understanding," the sage advised. Under the guidance of the sage, May began to practice the art of stillness alongside Koji. They sat together by the river, letting their thoughts drift like leaves on the surface. May struggled at first, but with patience and perseverance, she discovered the reservoir of calmness within. One day, as May sat in meditation, a storm of tempting visualizations swept over her. The sage, observing from a distance, noticed the turmoil in her expression. Instead of intervening, he allowed May to confront the tempest within. As May breathed deeply and focused on the stillness at her core, something remarkable happened. The storm began to subside, and the once tumultuous river of her mind transformed into a gentle stream. May opened her eyes, her face illuminated with a newfound understanding. "Koji," May exclaimed, "I have witnessed the blossoms within the storm. The more I resisted, the stronger the current became, but when I embraced the turbulence with stillness, the river found its natural flow." Koji, overjoyed by May's revelation, nodded in agreement. Together they realized that the true mastery of the mind lay not in suppressing desires, but in understanding and transforming them. As May and Koji continued their journey, they carried the sage's teachings with them. The duo became wanderers of both the external and internal landscapes, sharing the timeless wisdom of stillness and detachment with those they encountered along the way. And so, the story of Koji and May became a whispered legend among the cherry blossoms, a testament to the transformative power of embracing the ebb and flow of the mind's river on the path to inner peace.
Please subscribe to my channel Lessons of Life and press the bell notification icon.